Good morning, everyone, and here we are taking over yet another household surface. I've been given a brief window of opportunity by the United Nations before I get sanctioned to complete this video, because apparently tables are for eating on, breakfast bars are for eating and working on, and worktops are for cooking on. So I have to be quite quick with this video, get it out of the way while the UN is doing various chores. So these are some of the contenders for the Great Malagasy Tank-Off, and some of the considerations and the ones that led up to the vehicles being selected. So let's just recap. The Malagasy Army operates around 50 of these Merkava IVM windbreakers. They probably, in my view, the best protected tank in the world. The Merkava, of course, is from Israel, and that prevents some deployments. Certainly you don't take your Israeli Merkavas to the United Arab Emirates for a cooperative exercise with your allies. Likewise, you wouldn't take it to Qatar, you wouldn't take it to South Africa at the minute. So the Merkava, whilst it's heavily protected, it's a brilliant tank, does have a few deployment limitations even in the what if world. So what they are looking at is a lighter, more mobile tank to deploy with the Malagasy Expeditionary Forces. Now, I have 3 levels of forces in my what if imaginary army. I have heavy forces, I have medium forces, and I have light and screening forces. The bulk of the Malagasy Expeditionary Force is light and screening for strategic mobility. And these are the contenders. So I've grouped them into 3 main areas, and then an additional one, which is the non-tank section, which is the cavalry and the infantry have entered some vehicles for consideration. Now let's have a look at the first section. This is the heavy non-auto loader section. So the Merkava would of course belong in this section here. And what we have here is the entrance. So there's 3 entrances into this section, and they've evolved from the Leopard 2 angled face series, which has come from the 2A5, the 2A6, 2A7 into the 2A8 with trophy. So the Leopard 2A8 is the first entrant, and this doesn't have an autoloader. It has 4 crew, and it has the L55 120mm cannon and trophy active protection system. The Malagasys then did their own variant of the 2A7, again with the L55 cannon. They moved the RWS to the front. They gave it active protection here, enhanced hull armour, tank self-recovery, more armour here, more top attack armour here, top attack armour here, statistical protection around the rear, and really beefed it up. Unfortunately, that beefed up the weight. Now, the Abrams is the next one here, and this is an evolution of the M1A2 SEP V3 tank into the beefed up Malagasy version. Now, this one has active protection systems here. It has reactive armour arrays here, reactive armour here, top attack armour, remote weapons system, and there's a separate video on all of these tanks. And this is really beefy. It's an absolutely well protected vehicle. Does away with the hull armour stowage. That becomes your brewing area for brewing cups of tea. It's festooned with machine guns. It's just got the rounds, the 36 rounds in the blow-off protected bustle there. A really well protected tank, but very heavy. We're now topping out at plus 70 tons, 72 tons for that. So that's very heavy, but very well protected. The Challenger 2 was considered, but the L15 rifled gun is no longer really a competitor. It's non-standard ammunition wise. The tank weighs 75 tons as standard, so that was not an entrance. So let's get rid of the ones which aren't entrance. We'll put those over here out the way, checking that the hob is off. And here we have the free entrance from the 4 crew tanks with extra protection added. Mobility wise, this will have the best mobility, then this one, and then the Abrams at the end, just to the weight. And now I'm not talking about the mobility as in can it go round, because it's a tank, it can. What I'm talking about here is bridging. This is very heavy for bridging, so the Malagasys will have to beef up their bridging. Then we look at tanks of the future, which is the next section here. And we have the Abrams X technology concept demonstrator, an absolutely fantastic vehicle. Now, this is where you get into the issues of, do you continue to beef up the Abrams and push the weight limit, or do you go for the Abrams X, which has active protection? It has its crew down here in the hull. It has an uncrewed turret, ammunition under that bustle, a 30mm RWS system, sights and the ability to launch drones, all at a significant weight reduction over this heavily beefed up Abrams. So that's your first element of conundrum, if you like, in the Great Tank Off competition, because does this, retaining its mobility and its ability to bridge, its strategic transportability, outweigh the advantages of all of this extra armour? And I'll throw that open for you guys to comment on. But the Abrams X here with the 120mm main gun, XM360 main gun, it's packed full of active soft kill and hard kill protection systems. Here's your launchers for the hard kill. A really, really nice tank. So a tank of the future to be considered. New power pack, this will be a diesel hybrid electric power pack. Retaining a lot of the core Abrams look, but taking it to the next level. I really like the Abrams X. Then we have the KF51. I'll come on to the Hyundai in a bit. Now, the KF51 is an evolution of the German Leopard tank series. It is much better protected along this side. It's got the strike shield active protection on the side. It's got a new power pack. Again, this would be diesel electric hybrid. It's got a crude turret, this one has, and then the active protection, frontal armour, top attack armour, everything is beefed up, taken to the next level. A remote weapon system for anti-drone. You can have drone launchers here, but then that limits you to 10 rounds of 130mm ammunition. Really good sighting systems. I love the way this looks. It looks sleek, it looks modern. 2 crew in the turret, and interestingly, no driver's hatch. The driver gets in from here and comes down into the hull. Now down here you can have extra stowage, or you can have an operator, and the operator there can control loitering munitions or control a platoon of tanks or robots even. So a very different way of doing it. So the 2 crew in the turret, commander, gunner, driver, that's your standard loadout. 1 tank per platoon will have the platoon commander down there. And the reason it's got no driver's hatch is because that's a weak point. So it does away with that straight away. Really nice looking turret, a very futuristic and modern vehicle. I like the KF51. Lots of firepower there with the 130mm main gun. The anti-drone, that's called a Natter, and that is designed to shoot down drones and give close-in protection. Then we have the Hyundai stealth tank, which I've just done a video of, so I won't go into major details. All of these have their separate videos. This has an anti-drone system here, MG, and the remote weapon station here is quite large, but it would swing round and the aerials would just go out the way and then spring back. This will have active protection. In the future, this will have a hydrogen fuel cell. It's got provision there to launch drones and have a good ammunition capacity for the 130mm main gun. Protection wise, it's active protection all around. new advanced armour concepts which we know nothing about, and a nice stealthy look. Apparently the free crew go down here. There is a hatch here in the turret. I guess that's for maintenance. I'm unsure. Different sites for commander and gunner, and the free crew are tucked away down there, which kind of reminds you of the Armata, which is the one that everyone loves to hate. A lot of hatred for this vehicle. It is a technology concept demonstrator that the Russians have made in the same way that the Abrams X is a technology concept demonstrator. You won't see these, I believe you won't see these in the war in Ukraine, because they are focusing on mass production of their T90M series. And the Armata, of course, gets a lot of criticism because one broke down on a parade. Okay, show me a Challenger or a Leopard that doesn't break down every so often. And it basically, people love to hate it because it's Russian, which I get. However, in terms of concept, it's not a bad concept at all. You've got lots of armour around here. You've got actual top attack armour here. Of course, the Russians face top attack weapons like we don't face in NATO, because we tend to use top attack weapons. They also face side attack ATGMs, and they put the free crew into this protected module. And before you start criticising the Armata, well, have a look at what's happening with the Abrams X free crew protected module in the hull. The K3, even as they call it, stealth tank free crew protected module in the hull. So concept-wise, design-wise, it's not a bad concept. The issue for the Malagasys is if they brought these, the Americans would sanction them in what-if land out of existence. So for that reason, unfortunately, the Armata will not be taking place in the Great Tank-Off, because basically the Malagasys still want to eat. Let's come on to the next section and last section. These are the autoloader tanks. These are the ones primarily that use autoloaders. Now, let's start with the T90 MMM. This is a Malagasy upgrade of the T90. Here's your latest T90 standard with the extra side hull armour and rear turret armour for the war in Ukraine. Very naughty. And armour along this side here. The T90M Pira 3 is the latest Russian standard. And like I said, they're going to be building these because they are already have the production line. It's cheaper to build than the Armata, and that's what they will be using. The Malagasys upgraded this to take the armour to the next level, put in top attack reactive armour, beef up the armour everywhere on the side with external reactive armour, turret, external reactive armour protection. Still retains the statistical bar armour protection around the rear and the nets. And again, this was a really strong entrant because it's strategically mobile. Unfortunately, the What If Americans said, you buy those, you won't be buying anything else. So for that reason, I've excluded the T90s from the competition. The Malagasys then were approached by Macron on the sly. Macron has a plan to get hard cash into the ailing French economy. And he said, well, we've got lots of Charles Leclerc, not Charles Leclerc, Charles Leclerc, the Leclerc tank Series 1 sat around in France doing nothing. Now, this is a Series 2 Azure of the United Arab Emirates, who are a Malagasy ally. This is an upgraded Series 1. The Malagasys put lots of extra reactive armour onto it, top attack armour, active protection system all around. A really good tank for its weight. The Charles Leclerc weighs less than the Abrams. It's a good upgrade, upgraded sights, and no need for an RWS on this one, but it's covered in active protection. Of course, the Series 2, they won't be buying, but that is one of their allied friends, the UAE, visiting, so we'll put that out the way, but it just shows the evolution. So that's the first competitor from the autoloaders. The Chinese, of course, have been big Malagasy weapons dealers for a while, and mainly in the field of aircraft, the J-10s, the FC-31, that kind of stuff. So they entered the ZTZ 99 AM, which the Malagasys took and upgraded with statistical protection around the rear. That's the kinetic Q-nets. They upgraded it with the reactive armour ARAT 1 tiles on the side, copied reactive armour here against IEDs, reactive armour and active protection, and top attack protection with a remote weapon station across there. The downside of this tank is it retains the autoloader carousel style, which the Malagasys feel is a vulnerability, but that is an option. Buying that would incur Uncle Sam's wrath and likely some sanctions. Then we have the Korean K2. The K2 here is a absolute work of art. This is a Malagasy upgraded version. This is 3D printed from AliExpress. It's got the Korean active protection system. The Malagasys have upgraded some of the side armour on the turret there with reactive armour, and here top attack reactive armour. Put the remote weapon station there at the front. It's got the L55 cannon. Absolutely wonderful tank. Highly commended. Very good. Going up against the Koreans is the Japanese with their Type 10. And this is a really good tank. And the Malagasys have called this the Lancer Evolution. This is the Evolution 3 with top attack protection, active protection systems, and a belly plate. Taking the weight, because this is quite lightweight, up to around the 52-ton mark max, which is still quite light. Doing away with the whole ammunition stowage leaves probably only 14 rounds max in the autoloader, which is less than the 22 that the Leclerc can carry when you do away with the whole ammunition stowage. But it is better protected than the T90, which retains the carousel and ammunition in this bustle here. It's better protected than when the carousel is hit on the ZTZ99 AM, but not as good as the, not using the hull ammo and just using the rounds there in the K2, which I think is 16 in the bustle. So the Type 10 is a really good contender, and the one that I'm pretty much going to be focusing on. Its weight is great for what the Malagasys need. Its upgradability and its ability to carry different armour configurations is great. So at the moment, other than the futuristic tanks, this is my favourite at the moment, the Type 10 Lancer in its various evolutions. Let me know what you think. Again, the Malagasys have upgraded this, the Lancer Evolution 3 with top attack armour, reactive armour on the side, active protection system, and more machine guns than probably it needs, but you can never have too many in the modern environment. Take care. Goodbye.